Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on the program Beyond 100 Days, where we keep tabs of events and happenings in the polity. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. You can join the conversation right now on X, formerly Twitter. Remember to use the hashtag Beyond 100 Days and tag at TVC News NG. The ruling All Progressives Congress is set to commence the process of registering what it calls its over 40 million members electronically to consolidate its membership strength ahead of the 2027 general elections. The national chairman of the APC, Abdullahi Ganduje, said this when he received a delegation of elected deputy national officers and national executive committee members of the party at the secretariat in Abuja. The development has come in 2 years after Mai Malabuni-led National Caretaker Committee conducted a similar nationwide membership registration exercise, which brought the current number to over 40 million. The APC chairman said the essence of the electronic registration innovation is to capture the current membership strength of the party. I'm joined now to discuss this new development within the APC. The National Publicity Secretary, Felix Morka, joins me for more on this development. Thank you for joining us on the program, Mr. Morka. Mr. Morka, what's the process of this electronic registration? What exactly is the party seeking to achieve here? We'll get back to you in the course of the program as we explore further what needs to be done differently within Nigerian political parties, particularly seeing what's happening at the various tribunals, particularly the legislative elections that we're monitoring in recent days. You begin to wonder if parties are paying attention to pre-election matters, issues that could have been resolved within the party before going for an election. So many people are now losing their seat, not because they did not have the highest number of votes at the polls, but because of issues that were not resolved prior to that election proper. We'll also explore the security situation in the Southeast as well as some other developments. Let's get to it now, and then we'll return to the APC matter later on. The security situation in the Southeast recently has continued to receive attention as the Chief of Army Staff reaffirmed the commitment of the military in restoring peace and order in the region. Meanwhile, the Ohanaeze Indigo Youth Wing has called on National Assembly to accelerate the passage of the Southeast Development Commission Bill as measures to revamp the economy of the sub-region. And this formed part of the Apex Igbo Social Cultural Organization's communique at the end of their meeting in Enugu. The Igbo Youth Organization said the establishment of the Southeast Development Commission would rehabilitate, resuscitate and propel development in the region. They are now appealing to President Tinubu to consider appointing more Southeasterners as he fills up his ministerial slots for equity, fairness, and justice. Thank you for staying with us. Let's begin with the development in Southeast Nigeria. I'm joined by acting national youth leader Ohanaeze Indigo Worldwide, Chukwuma Okpalizuku, who joins me live on the program. Thank you for joining us on Beyond First 100 Days. Let's begin with what your reaction is to the position of the Chief of Army Staff that sit at home is now a thing of the past in the region. Is that something you can confirm?
Yes, it is a welcome development that now the hearts and minds of the people are being won over the economic cankerworm and the counterproductive agitation known as sit at home. Indeed, the leaders in Southeast, including the governors and even the residents, have clamored for end to sit at home. Are you there?
I can hear you. Please go ahead. I can hear you, Mr. Chukwuma. Well, we're working on that connection to be able to reconnect with the acting national youth leader of Ohanaeze Indigbo, who is joining us to better understand what the development is in that part of the country. I understand that you are back now. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, like the Chief of Army Staff said, it is our collective desire to end sit at home in Southeast due to its peculiar economic concern to our region, Southeast. The Igbo youths in the 5 states of Southeast have come together to demonstrate that we no longer support sit at home as a means of protesting or agitating for the release of our own brother, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Thank you.
So I understand the economic concerns, the billions, if not trillions of naira that have been lost, in the past months or years thereabout. But what do you think has happened now to the secessionist philosophy that has since driven the disharmony we've experienced in the past years? Mr. Chukuma.
Yes, I'm here.
I'm asking about the secessionist philosophy that seemed to have fueled the sit-at-home agenda in the first place. Would you say that the majority of stakeholders in the Southeast are now believing in the concept of one Nigeria and moving ahead?
You see, many of us has our own perspective of the agitation. The secessionist initiative was prompted by the gross maladministration, neglect, and the marginalization of the region. I do not believe that if we want to resolve the issue of secession, we should commence from the immediate and the remote causes, which is marginalization. If you watch, the Southeast is not really asking that secession is the best option to seek redress. No. If you watch, Southeasterners has their properties almost everywhere in Nigeria. We are the real Nigerians who believe in one Nigeria. That is why whenever you find any Southeasterner, they are working so hard, developing their, just like in our adage, Ebonye Bikon Awachi, where you live is where you protect, defend, and develop. If the Southeasterners are scattered all over the country, they are living there, they are defending there, they are developing there. Why are we looking for secession? Because we are highly neglected, we are highly marginalized. So if these issues, these remote and the immediate causes are addressed, just like we are calling for Southeast Development Commission Bill. Southeast was ravaged by the Civil War, and it was resolved on reconstruction, rehabilitation, and repatriation. None of all these things has happened, but other zones who had less similar impact of violence or destruction, they now have development commission, except Southeast. So on this note, we are calling on the National Assembly to pass the Southeast Development Commission Bill, which is already on the floor before them, for equity and fairness. Again, Southeast in the recent appointment done by Mr. President, it is in tandem with the Constitution that every state will have one slot. Not just every state. Also, every zone as a geopolitical zone should also have one slot. If you observe closely, you will see that all the zones in Nigeria, they have more than 5. Some have 6, some have 7, some have more. Only Southeast is being denied of a slot. And we are calling for more.
Which one are you referring to, Mr. Chukuma? Are you referring to the ministerial appointment?
Yes, as part of the things that is causing the agitation that likely brought about the seat at home. So when we are addressing these issues politically, we must touch these points.
All right. So it's hard to see the correlation between, a sit at home that began as what they called protest for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and see the correlation between that and the number of Southeast appointments under the Tinubu administration. But we understand that there are still more ministerial slots. Some Southeast senators have asked and have actively lobbied for more. So that's still quite open. It's hard to deliberate on that because it's not, a completed negotiation, so to speak. But you talked about the Southeast Development Commission bill. It didn't get the presidential assent in the previous administration. Beyond calling for the assent, what is the region doing? Because you have representation both at the Senate and the House of Representatives.
Yes, we are working so hard, forging the union that we require, doing nationwide consultation as needed to ensure that Southeast gets better treatment that will subsequently douse the entire initiative about agitation and forge the union that we harmonize and ensure that impact is maximized and purpose served.
Acting National Youth Leader Ohanaeze Ndigbo Worldwide Chukwuma Akpalizeku, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us on the program this evening. Return to our initial conversation about developments within the All Progressives Congress. We understand the party has now commenced the processing of registering what it calls its over 40 million members electronically to consolidate its membership ahead of 2027 general election. I'm joined now by the National Publicity Secretary of the party, Felix Morka, live on the program. It's just 2023 and your party is already talking about 2027. But walk us through what this electronic registration is all about. What is the APC seeking to achieve?
Well, thank you very much for having me on the program. The party, the All Progressives Congress, is looking to digitalize its membership register to register electronically. This is the digital age. It's the age, of computers and the internet. So the party is also trying to keep pace with, technological developments to make our party register, more accessible, more comprehensive, more easily verifiable. The question of, whether an individual in any part of this country is a member, a card-carrying member of the party, right now it's very painstaking to even establish that simple fact. But I believe that, if we transition to, digital record, it'd be much easier to verify at the top of a button who is a member and who is not. And, for so many other purposes, yes.
Please go ahead, go ahead.
Yes, for so many other purposes, including issues of planning campaigns, planning party programs, outreach, distribution of benefits, verification of record. For so many reasons, we believe that this new platform will be very, forward-looking in terms of ensuring efficiency and effectiveness.
So, Mr. Morka, I'm sure not many, believe the membership strength brandished by many political parties. For instance, how do you explain that just 2 years ago, your party claimed to have 40 million members and only 8 million of them voted for your candidate this year? I'm concerned, if you are also concerned, if the APC is going to involve some form of biometric registration to ascertain the authenticity of these numbers.
In doing this, by the way, let me clarify that process has not started, okay? Because, in your intro, one is left with the impression that is ongoing already. It's a declared objective, and the party is now beginning to, put together the modalities and instrumentation to make that happen. So, just to be clear for our viewers, the process has yet to start. But we're hoping that as soon as possible, as soon as we're able to organize the frameworks and the necessary technical, wherewithal, we will, in fact, launch. But, you're right. The last election showed a rather low turnout, not just of voters for the APC, but for, parties across the board. But, you must take that in the context of, the prevailing apathy amongst the electorate in the country. So many people, for so many reasons, whether it's, they didn't turn up. But I don't think that's anything to be concerned about too much. That's why we're taking this step, hoping that this gives us now, an opportunity to even further audit our membership register and figure out ways, to make sure that anyone who is on the register is in fact a registered member of the party for the purpose of record, but for the purpose of data, and also for the purpose of just share planning for elections and beyond.
I get your point about voter apathy, but the total number of votes really in February during the presidential election wasn't even up to 40 million. And so it's really hard to tell how whether or not these figures aren't over-bloated, and perhaps a biometric form of registration will be the way to go to be sure of the numbers. But will members now still require to carry physical cards after this e-registration?
It's too early to comment on the kinds of instruments that will either be used for the process or that will be the outcome in terms of evidence of membership. Those are the matters and the issues which the party will begin to sort through as we proceed in this effort. But the point here is that we want to be not just Africa's largest party, but also the best documented technologically.
So it's been a mixed fortune as small tribunal judgments come in from legislative elections across the board for all of the parties. Some that won at the ballot now are saying that things are turning quite differently. But what do you think every election year parties still find themselves losing election based on pre-election matters that could have been resolved at the party level?
Well, there are two things. One is that, people who contest at the level of primary election were people who went into that process hoping to win at that primary level so they can contest in the general election. So often, even long after the primaries have come and gone, those who have grievances continue to maintain their claim to victory or to challenge the outcome at that level. And it's all healthy, it's all good. You can't muscle them out. The party cannot say to its members who contest and lose, that they should not pursue, their grievance, mechanism in court to try to get remedy if they believe strongly that they actually are entitled to one. The party cannot do that. But, what you find now is that, yes, some pre-election matters can become the basis on which even elections are nullified, depending on the circumstances. The Electoral Act does recognize that in some cases, the question, for example, of whether an individual is qualified to contest an election can be a pre-election matter, but can also become relevant, because if that individual was not qualified to contest in the first place, then the question of, a certain victory or sustaining the victory declared by even INEC becomes, questionable. So, because you can't put something on nothing and expect it to stay. If there was no basis of that candidacy, then the courts are permitted to, rule, even after election, that individual did not, meet the requirements to contest in the first place. That is a legitimate legal construct.
Interesting way you've put it. Mr. Moka, we have to go now, but it's well over 100 days of the APC Tinubu-led administration. Does your party have a mechanism of measuring the president's performance? How do you think it's doing vis-a-vis the Renewed Hope manifesto?
Look, the president is doing, very well. we're very happy with the steps taken so far. Now, make no mistake, this president has demonstrated enormous courage in the policies that he has, announced already. These are policies which, his predecessors either were shy or were too, afraid or were not certain to take. But these are steps which must be taken. Like, there's no question. It's inescapable that these policies, like the fuel subsidy, the attempt to harmonize the exchange rate, these policies are required if we must turn the corner. It's not negotiable. So I think that in as much as we admit, and of course everyone is concerned about the immediate repercussions, we are confident that the long-term benefits of these decisions will outweigh and outlive the transient pain that our people are going through, which is, of course, very concerning.
The end, they say, justifies the means. Trust me, Nigerians are counting on that and hoping to see the results of all of these hard decisions that have been taken in the past 100 days. Felix Morka is the National Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress. Thank you for talking to us on the program this evening.
Thank you.
Well, that's our program today. You can watch a repeat at midnight and at 6 a.m. tomorrow. I'm Nifemi Oguntoye. See you again tomorrow.